Hi guys, today we are going to learn how to install Internet Information Server, which is IIS server. To do that, we'll have to install a virtual server from scratch and then connect it to the domain and install the IIS roles. So to do that, let's go ahead and click New, and then our server name would be IIS01 Contoso, and location would be D drive, and virtual VM box. Let's go ahead and create one folder called IIS01 Contoso, and then click select folder, and this will be Windows 2016. Click next, and RAM would be 2 gig. It's fine. Create a virtual hard disk. We can choose the VMDK and dynamically allocated 50 gigabyte initially. Cool. Now we'll go ahead and select the network, and then we'll choose the bridge adapter. Click OK, and then we'll start it. And we'll go ahead and select the ISO files. So we have got our ISO files right there, and we'll click choose start. And this is similar like the file server that we installed before. It will be the same procedure. We just need different servers to install the different roles. So, and it's highly recommended that we will never install IIS services or roles onto file server or domain controller. And let's click on install now. So let's select all this pre-configuration that we need to select. And we'll select the data center evaluation desktop experience. Click next. And let's accept the license agreement. Click next. We'll click the custom installation. Click next. And this process is going to take some time. Then once we get our login prompt, we'll come back. Our IIS server is started 2 times, and now we'll have to enter the password for the local admin. And we'll go ahead and log into the IIS server and prepare it to join it to our domain controller. We have got our desktop onto our IIS01 server, and now we'll have to prepare this server to connect it to the domain. The very first thing is to change the computer name. So we'll have to click on local server, and then click on computer name. working very slow. And we'll name the IIS server as IIS01 Contoso. The same kind of file naming convention we can keep. We'll click on change and enter name of this IIS server, IIS01 Contoso. Click OK. Click OK, and this will prompt us to restart the server. We'll go ahead and restart the server. We'll go ahead and log in as local admin. And we need to add the DNS for the server before we try to connect it to our domain like before. So if we do not add the DNS address, this server will not be recognized by our domain controller. So as soon as server manager starts, so we can go to the local server and then network properties and add the DNS. So we'll click on local server and then click on network properties. Still collecting the inventories. So that's our Ethernet. And once we get our Ethernet properties, then we can add the DNS address to it. So we'll double click onto the IPv4. And then click onto the use the following DNS server address. Address would be 1.10 will be my DNS address, which is the IP address of the domain controller. You'll have to check the IP address of your domain controller. And I'll add the Google DNS. Click OK. Click OK. So now our preparation is done. We can go ahead and connect this server to our domain. So we can do this from Server Manager, or we can go to this PC from Search, and then right click onto this PC, then click Properties, and then click change settings, click change and click domain, and then we'll have to enter our admin user ID and password for the domain controller. So you'll have to use your domain administrator user ID and password. So it says welcome to the contoso.local domain, so which means the domain admin user ID and password worked, and we'll have to restart the server now. Our server just started, so we'll go ahead and log in as a domain admin. Click other users and we'll enter the domain admin user ID and password. So we have got our IIS server installed. Now the very first step is, as soon as we'll get our server manager, then we'll have to install the IIS server roles to upgrade this server to Internet Information Server. So once we get our server manager, and then we'll proceed with the IIS server's installation. Now we'll go to the manage and then click add roles and features, and then click next, click next, click next, and then from the list of roles we'll have to select web server and then click add features, click next, click next, click next and click install. Our IIS server role is installed, so click on close, and we can click onto the notifications and see installation succeeded on IIS-01 Contoso. So now how do we check it that our web server is installed? So we'll go to the CMD to get the IP address of the server first. So our web server IP address is 192.168.1.174. So now if we put the IP address from our Windows 10 workstation, it will give us the default page for our web server. So let's log on as Jendo or any other users from Windows 10 workstation, and then start the Internet Explorer, and let's go back to the IIS server and see the IP address is 192.168.1.174. So we'll go to the internet browser and we'll have to enter that IP address, which is 192.168.1.174. Again, it's taking back to the Microsoft site. So we'll wait a little bit, exit from the Internet Explorer and start the Internet Explorer again. One 192.168.1.74, and this is our default page for the web server. Now if you like to add your own page, we can do that too. Let's go back to the IIS server, and then let's create one test HTML file which we use to create our website. Like let's create a test HTML page and save it in our web server. So we'll go to the run and then notepad, and we'll write some codes for the HTML. So the very first one would be HTML tag. So if you do remember, those are like old school code. And we can say test web page. Title will be displayed on to the title, and header would be hello world, and body text will be hello. So let's go ahead and save this file onto desktop first. Save as. We'll save this file as an HTML. So click on all files and then go to the desktop, and then this will be our test.html. Okay, let's exit from the notepad. So we'll copy this test HTML and paste it to the web folder location, which is under C drive. And there is a folder called inetpub, and then www.root, and there we can paste that test HTML file. So this will give us the security warning. While we try to copy, it will go ahead and click continue. Now we have copied this test HTML. Now let's go back to our Windows 10 workstation and enter that file name, test.html. So that's how we can create one test HTML file and copy that onto the web folder and browse that from
Hey guys, today
workstation.
we are going to learn
that's
about the
how
quota
our
management in Windows
IIS server
26
works,
server.
and we can integrate
What does quota management mean?
a lot of
Quota management works on shared
web
folder,
site
like
files
restrict
or application files between
the
IIS server and
user
database
storage
server.
limit.
So
For instance,
I hope
we
this
can say like
tutorial was
IT
informative for
security
you.
and
So
HR
looking forward to
department, they'll
seeing
have
you on next
only
tutorial.
100
Thank you.
gigabyte of storage space for each folder.